Hey, good morning. Today's topic is paralysis by analysis. I'll explain, but first, let's go get on the trail. Hey, welcome back to the Thomas Tate. Philippines, an American exit strategy. I was out on the trail today and I had a couple of thoughts. You know, when I get to retirement in a few short years, I will have almost 40 years as a healthcare professional. So you can imagine how many people I've come in contact with over the years. Thousands and thousands and thousands, I'm sure. I don't remember all their names or all their faces, but I remember their injuries. But it got me thinking, when I was a younger therapist and I would have older patients who were retiring or getting near retirement, and I'd ask them, what are you going to do for retirement? Oh, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay at home, mow my lawn, go fishing. And I was like, that doesn't sound like that much fun. I mean, not going to work's great, but it didn't seem like they had a plan. And then there would be the people who had gotten to the age and they hadn't planned and they're trying to figure out their retirement. And they said, I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I would have done that. And I listened and realized I can't live just for the moment. I have to put money away for retirement. And I'm glad I did. It's not a lot. You can imagine going through 2 divorces, buying and selling houses, moving around the country. A lot of that wealth you generate goes away. You know, the government gets it, the lawyers get it, but it just resonated with me when they didn't have a plan. And they said, I wish I would have saved more money so in retirement I could travel, or I could move to the beach, or just something. And it made me sad. So I probably didn't think about it as much when I was in my 20s and 30s, 40s. Maybe I was so busy grinding it out. I've owned and operated 5 outpatient therapy clinics. I was fairly successful in Charlotte, North Carolina. But then the divorce happened. The kids moved out. We were empty nesters and we grew apart, and that was that. So now I'm in my late 40s. The life I had built, or I thought was the American dream, is gone. So it's just me. What do? I didn't really have a plan. I mean, we go back to Am I Crazy video? Maybe. I mean, I finally said enough's enough. I don't want to stay here. So I moved to Hawaii. And I lived there for 2 years. I liked it. I don't think I loved it, because anytime you go somewhere and it's not vacation and you're living and working and you're integrated into the community, it's different. I mean, an island fever is a real thing. I mean, you live on a small rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and it's hard to get anywhere. Australia's what, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours away? Back to California is 6 hours. There's just not a lot to do. You can go from island to island, but that gets old too. So I moved back and I had to get a plan. And I did. I had a rock solid plan. I got my dream job, a place I always wanted to work, with a colleague who was my mentor. They gave me my very first job, or my very first chance at being a hand therapist. So I got to work with her, and I got to work with 8 orthopedic surgeons who specialize in hand injuries, and a group of talented CHTs, that's certified hand therapists, which I am. And it was wonderful. I was living downtown Greenville in an apartment. I didn't have any worries. But then I bought a townhouse right outside of town because I felt like I needed that asset and I didn't want to throw money away. But looking back, that was an anchor. It restricted me. I mean, I don't think it was a dumb move. I mean, I still made money off the sale of it. But here's where I got mixed up. And we're talking about paralysis by analysis. I thought in order for me to be happy, I had to be in a relationship. I thought things and people would make me happy. Boy, was I wrong. So I had a beautiful young girl show interest in me. She also happened to be very intelligent. She was in medical school here and was training to be a surgeon. And I don't know if it was just because she showed interest in me, or maybe subconsciously I'm thinking, wow, she's going to be a surgeon. I will not have to worry about retirement. Maybe that was part of it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I told you I wouldn't pull any punches. I'd be unfiltered about my finances, about my past, but maybe that was part of it. And so I asked her one day, because we kept hanging out, and I said, where do you see this relationship going? She goes, well, it's not like I'm gonna marry you or anything. I was like, ooh, thank God, because I'm never getting married again. Well, she flipped the script on me. It's about 6 months later, we're having dinner, and she looks at me and she goes, are you ever gonna ask me to marry you? And I turned around and looked over my shoulder. I said, who's she talking to? She's not asking me. Well, she was. And I didn't say anything. And once a month, she kept asking me the question. Man, I swore I'd never get married again. But my mom was still living at the time, and she was a confidant, and I trusted her with everything, every secret I ever had. And she loved my girlfriend. And I told her, I don't know what I need to do, Mom. She's got to move to Florida for residency, and I don't want to go back to Florida. I've lived there twice. I've lived in Orlando 2 times, and I didn't want to go back. And she goes, well, you got 2 choices. You can let her go, or you could go with her. And you know what? I really did love her. I cared for her. But in the back of my mind, looking back, I think probably I was looking for some type of stability and comfort for retirement. So that was my retirement plan, I guess. Well, fast forward a couple of years, we get married. We're in Florida. I buy a beautiful villa on a golf course down in Tamarack, Florida, in Fort Lauderdale area. And we were playing house. I was playing house. She was never around. I didn't realize residency was going to be so rough. I mean, she was doing 24, 28-hour shifts several times a week. We were like ghosts, ships passing in the night. We were lucky if we could go to a brunch on a Sunday. But even after that, she would have to sleep because she was just worn out. And eventually, we grew apart, and that's divorce number 2. So I'm a 2-time loser now. So you can imagine, I was, how old was I? 58, 57? 57. Now, I gotta pack everything up again, sell a house, find another job, move back to the Carolinas, because I was not staying in Southern Florida. It is not for me. It's a great place to visit like Hawaii, but it's not a place I want to live or retire, just too busy. So I moved back. Unfortunately, my old job was not available in Greenville, so I had to take a job in a neighboring county. And I didn't think I would be there long. I thought they would bring me back, but as fate would have it, everything works out the way it should. It's not what I wanted. It wasn't my plan, but somebody else had a plan for me. And it ended up being a good fit for me because I didn't have the high pressure, high stress of working at the hand center in Greenville. Even though I'm still doing hands, it's a lot more relaxed. And for an older therapist like me, that's what I needed. I didn't need that high stress, high intensity, high volume job. So obviously that gives me a little more time to think. And, you know, going back to people's dreams and their paralysis by analysis, that's the best way I can describe it, is I'm not going to be like these people. I mean, I see them and they're just existing. Most of them are just existing. They get to retirement and they really don't have a plan. Again, I've been in healthcare for almost 40 years. My whole life is developing treatment plans. And I can't go at life just winging it, saying, hey, I'm just going to pack everything up and I'm going to move to the Philippines. I've seen people do that in their vlogs and they get ruined. Man, that's just not me. That gives me anxiety just thinking about it. But so that's when I started thinking, I have to do something. I started doing the math and I realized I can't stay here. I cannot and fully retire. I'd have to work part-time just to cover my basic needs. Mortgage, car, everything, you know everything that's associated with living here. We are the greatest country in the world and people look at us like we're the richest people, but they don't realize it costs a lot of money to live here too. So that's why I had to start doing research. I did look at a couple of other places. I looked at Panama and Ecuador. And the reason I looked at those two is because they use the US dollar as their currency. And I don't quite understand it, but when I was looking at it about inflation, but even though they use the dollar, say $1,000 here equated to like $3,000 there. Does that make sense? But I don't want to give you misinformation. That was just something I was doing early on. And I realized that's just not the climate for me. Not saying anything bad about it. It's just not what I'm looking for. And then I looked at Portugal. Portugal's beautiful and it's pretty cheap to live there as well. But then again, I haven't visited, so I can't really speak to it, but I just think that wouldn't be a fit for me either. Like I said, my previous wife was Asian. My girlfriend, long-term girlfriend, was Filipino. And that's pretty much what I'm drawn to. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference. Everybody has their likes and their dislikes, and that just happens to be mine. So judge me if you want to. But a year and a half ago, I was just like, I got to start doing something. I got to start doing some research. So I bit the bullet and I took a 2-week trip. I wish I could have taken longer. And I landed in Cebu. Well, I went to Hong Kong first. Hong Kong's amazing. I like Hong Kong. I don't want to crash out here, so hold on. I'm going to turn around. Hong Kong's a beautiful country. I would love to spend some more time there. I mean, beautiful city, I'm sorry, that's in China. But Hong Kong is great. If you ever get a chance and you got a chance to lay over in Hong Kong for a couple of days, do it. You will not be sorry. It was an experience. I mean, I told you, I don't rough it when I go. I stayed at some 5-star hotels. I stayed at the B-A-I, is that how you say it? I stayed at the SETA in the IT park. And then I stayed at the S Hotel over in Palawan. It was about the best one they had over there. There might be one or two that's a little nicer, but I did not rough it, but I did explore. Like I said, spent time in Cebu, just getting to know the lay of the land. Had a travel companion at the time, had a large family, had get-togethers, had a lot of people that were there to show me around. And then I always wanted to see the beautiful mountain or rock formations in Palawan. So I jumped on an Air Swift flight, a little turboprop, flew what, hour or 2 hours over there, spent some days. That was shocking. I got off the plane and it was one of these little runways and open air airports, and they're playing Christmas music, and it's September the 1st. And I'm like, what the heck? They go, yeah, Christmas starts September the 1st. But I kept trying to get a Grab. The Grab is the equivalent of an Uber or a Lyft here. and it was just blank. And I'm walking around and I'm like, how the hell am I gonna get to town? I mean, I'm walking down basically a dirt road from the airport. Well, I didn't realize you had to rent a tuk-tuk or a tricycle. It's basically a motorcycle with a sidecar. And boy, that was an experience. Wow. But made it to Palawan, and it did not disappoint. It's one of the most beautiful, it's probably the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. I'm gonna go back there next year and spend some more time. In El Nido, that's where I went. I might go to Coron. There's some other places you can go. I think they have more caves you can go in Coron, but I like the crystal clear water and the rock formations. That's my jam. But then I came back to Cebu Island and went to Kawasan Falls. I don't know what's in that water. It must be minerals or something, but it was almost like a sky blue. And you zip line down from the mountain, and it must be a couple of thousand feet. And when you get to the end, you're at the top of the falls, and you go canyoneering, and you go down the falls, and get to the very end, and there's like a large swimming pool area, and it was just gorgeous. Google it. I just say Google Kawasan Falls and Palawan, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I think I even have a video on my site somewhere, on my YouTube site. Actually, I do. There's two of them. There's one in Kawasan Falls, and there's Palawan. So check those out if you want to. But anyway, I got off on a little tangent, but getting back to planning. Don't wait. If you think you are not going to be able to stay here because of finances, start taking action now. Journal it. I'm big on that now. I used to didn't be that way, but now I start writing things down, and I can see it on paper, or I can see it in my phone. If I take notes in there on Google Notes or Google Docs, and just keep a record of things and start planning. You can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you all the steps on the Thomas take. So I really hope that you guys get motivated. I know everybody's circumstances are different. I just happen to be a lone wolf right now. I don't have any family to really keep me here. I know a lot of you guys probably do, but I would say the first thing you do is you got to start taking action. You have to journal it, come up with a plan to start figuring it out. But don't wait too long. I almost waited too late, but now I am set. My targeted date is December the 23rd, 2028, Christmas Eve. I am not going back to the clinic, and I'm not going to work another day. That's going to be it for me. But anyway, I hope this is helpful. I hope I motivate you guys to follow your dreams. But until next time, take care of your family. Most importantly, take care of yourself. And remember, there's one thing you can't outrun, and that's time. We only have a limited number of days, a limited number of heartbeats on this planet. So don't sit on the couch wishing and hoping something will happen. Get up, take action, and remember, time is strong.